Good morning, everybody. Welcome back and happy holidays. 'Tis the holiday season. Today we're going to be taking a look at how to create our own greeting cards inside of Adobe Photoshop to get us ready for the holidays. We're going to start by downloading our PSD file, clicking on this on Google Classroom, going to the three dots in the top right, going to open a new window, and then clicking on this download button right here. And that should download our image for us. We're going to click on this arrow in the top right, this down arrow, move our mouse down to the folder icon right here, and we'll click on that to open it up in our downloads. Next, we're going to double click, clicking 2 times on our 8.5 by 11 vertical image PSD file. Now this is a Photoshop template that will allow us to create our own greeting card. So we have some directions on here, but we'll walk us through this so you don't have to worry about it too much. On the right side of the card, this is going to be what's going to go on the front of your greeting card. And on the left is going to be the back of the greeting card. For the inside of our greeting card, we are going to be just writing it in ourselves, so we're just working with the front and the back today. And something a little bit cool here is we will plan on actually printing out our greeting cards so that you can give them to somebody that is special to you for the holidays. So that's going to be a lot of fun here. Let's start by maybe creating some text. So an important thing before we really start with the text though is to know that when we actually go to print this, we're not going to see the directions. So those will be hidden away, but it can be helpful to have them as we're getting started here just to know what is happening. But for now, let's go ahead and turn that off, hitting this eyeball icon on the right. And if you don't see your layers panel, that's okay. We can get it back by going to Window at the top, Workspace, go to Essentials, and then we'll go to Window, Workspace, go to Reset Essentials, and that will make sure your screen looks just like mine. So again, we're going to turn off visibility on the instructions right here. The main line we need to pay attention to is this vertical one right here. This is going to tell us where the split between the front and the back of our card lies. So we're going to be starting with the front of the card, the right side here. And we're going to start by grabbing our text tool. Text tool is right here on the left. We'll click on the letter T. And it might look like any of these 4 icons. So just be aware of that. Hold down on the text tool, and we're going to select the horizontal type tool. Next, we're going to add in some text. So maybe we'll just click once and say something like, Happy Holidays. Now, right now, there's nothing showing up on my screen, and that's because we're using white text on a white background, which means we just can't see it. To fix that, we're just going to triple click on our text to select all of it. Go to this color box at the top, and we're going to change this to a different color, maybe something nice and red for our holidays. And I do have a little bit of a typo here. I'll go back and fix that. I'm going to triple click again, and we're going to go ahead and change our font face. So just kind of scrolling through here and seeing if there's anything that we think stands out as being a good option for the holidays, maybe something like this. But again, you'll want to pick your own, make this your own. That's what we kind of encourage, is creativity and having fun with it, just experimenting and see what looks good and what feels right. So I think this is looking pretty good so far. We can change the size of our text by triple clicking on our text and sliding these T's to the left or sliding it to the right to make it bigger or smaller. So we'll go ahead and shrink that down. And we can use our Move tool over here on the left to reposition our text wherever we want to. And remember, we do want to keep it either on one side or the other. So the right side is going to be the front, the left side is going to be the back. And let's put this over here. Now, I think it would look better if this was even bigger, so I might go ahead and do that. To do that, I'm going to switch back to my text tool. I'm going to click on my text, and I'm going to just press backspace and then enter to put that on a new line. And now this is all separated out, so we can go ahead and make this even bigger. Again, we can triple click to select our text here, or click and drag to select all our text, and grab our T's at the right to make this even bigger, just sliding that to the right. I'll go ahead and switch to my Move tool, and we'll just get this nice and kind of centered up on this part of the page. Something like that should be good enough for now. Next, let's go ahead and maybe add on a picture. We're going to go ahead and go to Google Chrome here, open a new tab. We're going to go to the website images.google.com, and this will allow us to search for images. Now normally we would have to worry about things like copyright, but for today, and we're just not going to worry about it. Let that be a problem that we'll discuss another day. So I think something that might look nice on my card is maybe a Santa penguin. Let's see if we can find anything like that. Santa penguin. And a useful tip here is figuring out how to find ones that don't have a background. The easiest way to do that, we'll go to Tools on the right, we'll go to Color over here, and we're going to do Transparent. And this is going to give us just pictures that are on a transparent background. Makes it really easy to put it into Photoshop. I think that this one right here looks pretty cute. I'm going to go ahead and grab that one. And I'm going to right click on the image, do Open Image in New Tab. So this is just like when we were doing our time capsule project. We'll switch to our new tab, right click on our image, do Save Image As, and we're just going to save this somewhere we can find it. Let's maybe go to Desktop, create a new folder, and we'll call this Greeting Card. We'll just double click on Greeting Card, and we'll hit Save, and that will save our image. If we go up to here, we can click on the folder icon, and that's going to show us where we have our photos saved. We'll go back to Photoshop, click on our folder icon at the bottom here, and go to our greeting card. And now we can just click and drag this into our Photoshop document to add in our happy little penguin. We can click and drag on the corners to make it bigger or smaller, and we could click and drag it from the center to move it around. So maybe something like that looks pretty good. We'll go ahead and press check mark. Now, something else we might consider doing here is using some of our blending options. So we've used this a few times in our class before, and I think that might look good on our text. I'll go ahead and click on our text, go to FX at the bottom, go to blending options, and then we'll just kind of start experimenting with some of our options. Maybe a bevel and emboss here. We'll click on bevel and emboss. I like chisel hard, but again, we'll just kind of experiment, see which of these settings look good, which of them look bad, and we just want this to look as good as we can. And of course, there is not necessarily a right or wrong way of doing this. We just want to do what we think looks good to us. And each of these names, each of these icons, numbers, whatever, they don't matter too much. We just want to see visually what looks good. And I think we might go with this one right here. And again, adjusting the size a little bit, just seeing what looks good. And maybe we'll say that looks good for now. We'll go ahead and press OK. So that allows us to add a little bit of creative flair to our image. Let's maybe add on another picture here. I'm going to say let's add like a wreath. I'll go back to Google Chrome, close our current tab to bring us back to our Google Images. But again, we can always get back here by just doing images.google.com. And I'm going to search for a wreath. But again, you'll want this to be your own ideas and your own creativity. I'll go to Tools over here, go to Color, Transparent, and then I will find one that I think would look good for my Photoshop document. Maybe this one right here. Again, I'll right-click on the image, open image in New Tab, click on the new tab, right-click on the image, and do Save Image As. We'll go to Desktop, go to our greeting card folder, and just press Save. Going up to the top right, we'll click on the folder icon, click on Photoshop, go back to our folders at the bottom, click on the folder with our wreath in it, and then we'll just click and drag this into our document. And I'm going to just shrink this way down here. And maybe we'll do something like that. We'll move it over here. And we can rotate it a little bit just by putting our mouse on the outside of our image. And maybe something like that is going to look pretty good. We'll go ahead and press OK. Now we're going to go ahead and try working with the back a little bit. So for the back here, let's maybe do some text that says, and a Happy New Year. But again, this is going to be your own creativity, your own decisions to see what looks good. I'm going to start by going to my text tool on the left, click on text, clicking on the background here, and I'm going to write, and a Happy New Year. And if we want to make this smaller, again, we'll just click and drag to select all our text and slide on these T's to make them smaller. Go to our Move tool, and we'll move this down here. Maybe something like that. Right there. And maybe something that would look good is, let's see if we can find any stylized text that says something like 2025. I go to our images again, go to 2025, and I think some of these could look pretty good. We'll go to Tools, we'll go to Color, Transparent, and we'll see if there's anything that looks good here. And nothing stands out as great to me, so maybe instead we'll just have to create our own, and that's okay. We'll minimize here, go to our text tool right here, and we'll create yet another text layer. And I'll just write 2025, and maybe this would look good in a different font style this time. So again, just kind of sliding down, seeing what looks good. And I want something kind of lighthearted and whimsical looking. That might be a decent start, nice and round. We'll double click on our text, make it a lot bigger by sliding on the T's. Switching to our move tool, we'll move this over here, and let's maybe change the color. To change the color, I'll switch back to my text tool, select all the text, go to the color box on the top here, and I think something in kind of more of a gold color might look good, something like that. We'll go ahead and press OK. And let's maybe try doing some blending options on this as well. So again, we'll click on our 2025 layer, go to FX at the bottom, go to blending options, and we'll go, and maybe this time we'll try a stroke. Let's go to stroke here, click on stroke, and let's try just playing with the color and seeing what looks good. And maybe something like that. We'll press OK, that's looking pretty good. But again, these settings, the numbers, the specifics, they don't matter as long as you think it looks good. Let's maybe try doing a drop shadow next. I always like using those. We'll go to drop shadow. Let's change this to a black color here. And again, we'll just play with each of the settings, see what we think looks good, see what we think will work, and just experiment with it, see what looks right. I kind of like that. Not quite what I was expecting at first, but that's looking interesting. Let's try again, clicking through all our different options on our contours here. See what looks good. Oh, I like that one. I think I like that one quite a lot. Let's maybe go ahead and try that. We'll just hit that. And we can change the opacity a little bit, make that a little bit darker. That's looking pretty good. We'll go ahead and press OK. And we'll just get this positioned where we want it. Something like this. And to make it look a little bit more whimsical, we can maybe rotate it. Go to Edit at the top, go to Transform, go to Rotate, put our mouse on the outside, and we'll just rotate that a little bit. That looks pretty good. We'll hit the check mark to save it. And we can use our Move tool to position it wherever we want to. And I think something like that will work. If I press Control-0, that will allow us to see how our whole card is looking. Now, it is important that when we get ready to save this and when we get ready to print this, that we are going to make sure that our instructions layer is turned off. Otherwise, this will look rather silly. So let's go ahead and turn off our instructions here. And we'll go ahead and save this and turn it in. So let's go to File. We'll go to Save As. Go to our desktop. Go to our greeting card. And we'll press, or give it a name. We'll call that your name and then greeting card. We'll press save and go to OK. Then we're going to go ahead and go up to File at the top, go to Export, Export As, and here we're going to go to Format at the top and select JPG. And we can just take this slider all the way over to the right, make it as high quality as we can. And we're going to go ahead and just do turn off this convert to sRGB. And then we're going to go ahead and press Export right here. Again, we'll save this in our greeting card, and we'll just go ahead and press Save. Go ahead and turn in that image on Google Classroom, and then comes the fun part. I'll be able to go ahead and print that for you. So let's see if we can try that process together using the one that we just created. I'll go to Desktop, go to Greeting Card, go to our finished picture, and let's go ahead and try printing that. I'll go ahead and press Print. And let's go ahead and press print here. and let's see how that ends up looking. I'm excited to see how this turns out. I haven't done a test print yet, so this will be our first one, and we'll get to see how it comes out together. Printer is firing up here. And there we go, we got it printed out. Let's go ahead and get this folded over. Just folding this in half. Just like this. And we have our greeting card. So we got our happy little penguin on the outside with happy holidays, and we got our 2025 Happy New Year on the back. So that's going to wrap up this one. Once we go ahead and get this printed out, you'll want to actually write on the inside so you have a special message for a special somebody in your life that you can share, whether it be a friend, family member, or somebody that you have a relationship with. Thank you all for watching, and I will see you all back in class. Bye now.